Hello, my name's Phil and welcome back to another episode of Vermont's 100 covered bridges. Today we're at the Brown Bridge, which is in Shrewsbury. So here at the Brown covered bridge, this was built in 1880 and it was the fifth of the 8 bridges built by Nichols Powers, and this is the final one of the 5 that I visited on my little trip to Rutland over the last 2 days. Nice to see that the town has left the Covered Bridge Week banner up for everybody to see as they pass underneath. And the bridge is 112 feet long and a town lattice, and pretty much has stood the test of time. It's also known as the Hollow Bridge because you'll see when we get down into the river, it's sort of the river bed was carved into a hollow and the force of the water. We have little plaque on the side of the wall here. I'll zoom in. Brown Bridge has been designated a National Historical Landmark, and goes on to explain about that. Apparently there's a new pest hiking its way across the forests. The emerald ash border has killed a lot of ash trees apparently. As mentioned, the bridge has stood the test of time, and up until 2002 had barely little work done onto it. Unfortunately 2011 our friend Storm Irene paid this river and this area a visit and caused a little bit of damage. Now FEMA, who are the disaster agency, helped support the bridge and the valley after Storm Irene had gone. The bridge was closed as a result of Storm Irene, but around a year and a half later, 18 months later, the bridge was once more reopened to traffic on the old Cold River Road. As ever, the bridge took its name from a nearby landowner, and in this instance his name was George Brown. Thankfully, although the banks look quite steep, or they are quite steep, there's this nice little path that I'm hoping, as he clings on dearly to this tree, I'm hoping this is going to take me down. Well, that was relatively easy, and here I am below the Brown Bridge. beautiful shot from downstream. I can confirm my right leg is wet, the same one as before, but yeah, it's worth it, and say so much easier to come down here than it was last week's episode at the Kingsley Bridge, which I should have thinking about how I got down there. But yeah, this is a great little babbling brook. Let's go and make our way underneath. Sometimes it's good for me to just shut up and let the picture tell the story with 1,000 words that I can't. One thing to note, I'm going to zoom in on the roof. It's a slate roof, believed to be the only one in Vermont with a complete slate roof. Now, I spoke about the Kingsley Bridge, how that used natural rock to prop up the abutment, but look at this one. We'll get a better view when I go across, but and then above it you can see how the bridge has just been topped up with a bit of masonry, but that is some boulder and a natural source to shore up the abutment. The one thing that strikes me is how low the bridge is, especially say compared to the Kingsley Bridge I was at last week. So if this river was raging, it's going to send not only the water coming down here, but all these rocks are going to smash. Clearly a new build there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cross over, well, I'm going to go upstream first and then I'll cross over to the side. This is definitely the river with the most rocks on that I've gone into so far. To the other side I can zoom in on that giant boulder forming the base of the abutment, and if I just turn round, we've got the abutment here. And what's great here, there's no concrete cap on top. Not that I have an issue with that, but it's great to see a complete stone abutment. I mean, as I was saying about how low, obviously I'm higher here than the river, but once the storm comes and the river gets higher, great little bridge. And what of the river that I'm stood in? Well, it's the cold river, although I can confirm it's quite warm. Swimmable. It's 12.9 miles long, and its source is in the town of Shrewsbury, and it flows all the way through Clarendon, and then it makes its way to Rutland, where it joins the Otter Creek. But now it's time to leave this wonderful river and the wonderful scenery below the Brown Bridge, make my way back up there. Thanks for joining me on this episode. It's always great when there's a nice direct path to the river, as was here. And the other good thing, there's plenty of parking here on both sides, lots of parking, which is another bonus point. And you've also got the covered bridge banner still up, which is good as well. So that's the end of the 8 bridges in Rutland. I'm going to put the names of the bridges up here so you can see and reference if you want to do a little day trip. They're all very, very close to each other. You've got the Kingsley Bridge and this bridge, which are the furthest south, and the Sanderson one, which is the furthest north and is probably half an hour away, maybe 35 minutes away. So it's a nice little day trip if you want to go and visit all 8 covered bridges in Rutland. So the 8 bridges of Rutland County are as follows. Episode 39 was the Twin Covered Bridge in Rutland. Episode 40 was the Gorham Bridge in Pittsford. Also in Pittsford was episode 41, which was the Cooley Bridge. And the Depot Bridge, also in Pittsford, was episode 42. The Hammond Bridge, which is the final bridge in Pittsford, was episode 43. And the Sanderson Bridge up in Brandon was episode 44. The Kingsley Bridge in Clarendon was episode 45. And here in Shrewsbury is the Brown Bridge, which is episode 46. Once again, thanks very much to my friends and colleagues at the Vermont Covered Bridge Society. And I'll see you next week in another episode. Where will I be? Who knows?